I honestly don't know why I'm recording this so late at night. I am getting way too old for this. It's 10 o'clock. I turn 30 next month. I have some great news to report. After a couple of weeks of not releasing a devlog, I finished Pong. I can't remember. It feels like I said that in the last video. I feel like I already said that I finished working on the game, but I finished working on the game. It is done for the most part. I'll put up a video and show you how it looks. I fixed all the bugs. It's got sound, power-ups don't work, and I don't care. I couldn't figure out how to get them to work, and I just decided I'm gonna move past that because it's Pong, and honestly, my goal was achieved. Make a video game. Something that is functional and resembles a game. And that's about it. That's really all I've got. Man, I'm tired. This was a mistake trying to record this right now. Okay, so Pong has been made. What's next? I got this idea for a turn-based war game, which I know is totally original, right? Yeah, so the idea came to me when I was thinking like, hey, chess would be an interesting game to make. It seems like it would be something easy enough that a beginner like me could make it, but challenging enough that I would also learn something in the process. Boy, oh boy, it's challenging. I started working on it today and still haven't gotten past camera movement. Now I've got a camera in the game, but my problem is that I tried to use Bing Copilot to get instructions for building the controls for the camera, and it kind of worked. I mean, it didn't work as well as I was hoping it would because I did end up having to go to a tutorial after all, but the idea was that I would use Bing Copilot and I wouldn't have to continue trying to sludge through tutorial hell. But here I am back in tutorial hell. It's hot. Anyway, my problem with what I did with Bing Copilot and what the tutorial is telling me to do is that they're two completely different processes. And to be completely honest, I'm not entirely sure that they achieve the same thing. I'll just kind of go through this real quick, which I know this is just riveting stuff for anybody watching a devlog right now. The Bing Copilot instructions tell me to start off by creating the blueprint class for the camera pawn. You're gonna add in a spring arm on the viewport tab. You're gonna set the target arm length to control the distance of the camera from the pawn, adjust the rotation to get the desired top-down view. I did that. I actually got that to work. That was pretty sweet. The problems started when I tried to create the input action. So I did the input action. I went into the content folder, content drawer, and created the input action. The instructions for this say that you need an input action for moving forward, right, up, and down. I asked it to clarify that if that means that I need 4 total input actions for this. And it said, no, you actually just need the 1. Okay, so I created the 1. I started running into issues here because there were a couple of things that didn't actually work from this. And so I had to go back into Bing Copilot and ask it to re-give me the steps that it was laying out for me with nodes that actually existed, because that was the original problem, was that it was giving me a node structure using nodes that for some reason either don't exist or were not capable to use in the context that I was trying to use them. So for all of you people who say that AI is coming for your job, game developers seem to be safe. I ended up going through a tutorial, and I'll just show you real quick what the tutorial is walking me through. So now I'm tiny in the bottom left of the screen. This is what the tutorial is walking me through. So basically what I did was I went into the content folder, and the first thing I did was I created this blueprint for the camera pawn. So if we go into the camera pawn, you can see I've got, actually, this is what Copilot was telling me to do, was to create the spring arm, and I've got the spring arm set up. I called it camera boom. Apparently that's what it used to be called. So the guy doing the tutorial said to call it that. Also, shout out to 2 Neurons. It's a very good tutorial. I've really been enjoying it. Mess with the rotation there, mess with the target arm length there. He did a couple of things with these. I don't know what inherent pitch means or inherent yaw, but he said to keep these 2 on and turn off pitch. So whatever. Did I do anything in the event graph? No, not yet. Okay, so then we go over to the game mode. So you got to create a game mode. I guess actually before you do that, you have to create the blueprint for the pawn movement component. So you're going to create the game mode, and within the within that, you're going to set the player controller class to blueprint player controller. Sorry, this is all really boring stuff. You don't need me to talk you through this. Culminated with creating this node structure, which uses this function, the basic movement controls. So instead of setting up input mapping contexts and input actions and all that, he has me setting up basic movement controls. Now, I don't know, input actions and input mapping contexts may come down the line, but the moral of the story here is that there appear to be several different ways to accomplish one thing. All I need is for the camera to move left, right, and zoom in and zoom out a little bit. I guess also forward and back. So maybe that makes it extra complicated. I don't know. Oh, hey, the Lions scored. Sorry, I'm watching the Lions while recording this. The point being that how do you know which way's the right way? Or maybe there is no right way, but there could be a best way, like a way that's more efficient than other ways, but other ways still kind of work. It's just you use a lot more code. I guess that's something that I'm trying to figure out with this, is that there is a lot of logic to game development, but boy, oh boy, it seems like you can logic your way into some corners and then and use some really interesting methods to get out of those corners, and maybe there's a best method for getting out of those corners, but maybe there was a best method for not getting in the corner in the first place. Does this make sense? This is my brain at 10 o'clock. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and cut it there, but I'm making progress and I'm trying to figure out what the best way to accomplish certain tasks is. If there is a best way, I'm assuming all of this is going to come with experience. Again, I'm like 5 months into this whole devlog journey or game development journey. So eventually I'm guessing that with experience, I will understand a good way of doing something, a better way of doing something, and then eventually the best way of doing something. But right now, this is the way I'm doing it. And if it accomplishes what I want it to accomplish, then fantastic. In the future, those types of things will come with experience. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it right there. If you have any thoughts on this, or you know of a better way to get a freaking camera to just move, like left and right, up and down, forward and backwards, just simple stuff like that, if you can point me in the right direction, I would absolutely love that. Leave it down in the comments section. That would be fantastic. If you enjoyed this absolute disaster of a devlog, please give the video a like. If you want to follow me in my journey, go ahead and hit subscribe. Again, the goal is still to develop this into something that in the future could maybe spawn a partnership, a collaboration, if you will, with other game developers out there, indie game developers, and make an actual video game that we can all be proud of and release out into the world and put Activision out of business. All right, everybody. See you in the next video. Like, subscribe, comment. We'll catch you next time.